$61,942. That is pretty cool, as she only contributed $61,199. The rest was generated through the awesome power of time and compound interest. After 20 years, Jennifer will have accumulated $231,242. This is really cool, as she only contributed $122,398. The rest was generated through the stunning power of time and compound interest. After 30 years, Jennifer will have accumulated $496,402. This is even cooler, as she only contributed $183,596. The rest was generated through the remarkable power of time and compound interest. As we know, after 40 years, Jennifer will have accumulated $970,504. This is mind-bogglingly cool, as she's only contributed $795. The difference of $725,709 was generated through the mind-numbing, I'm running out of adjectives, power of time and compound interest. There's a very fancy graph here that you cannot see because I'm speaking. I'm sorry. It shows things going up very quickly in time, over time. Look at those results carefully. Sorry, this is missed. Be on page 35 in your book. You'll see that almost half of Jennifer's money was generated in the last 10 years alone. This is why it isn't so important to start your RRSP as early as possible. Though putting it off may not seem like a big deal at the time, by starting your savings early, even by as little as 5 years later, you could miss out on hundreds of thousands of dollars later in life. What happens if Jennifer waits until she's 45 before beginning to save for her retirement? At that age, she would still have 20 years of saving in front of her before she reaches the age of 65. Jennifer now has half the time to save. So in order to make up for last time, she doubles the amount of her weekly contributions from $117.69 to $235.38. This way, she contributes exactly the same amount of money to her RSP as she would have if she had started 20 years earlier. How much money would she have then? $462,485. By starting at 45, Jennifer would accumulate less than half than what she would have by starting at 25. She misses out on $508,019 by starting late. Even though she contributed exactly the same total amount of money. Yes, compound interest will produce unbelievable results, but only if you give it enough time. So, is this example realistic? Oh, there's another graph here on page 39 you can reference. So, is this example realistic? Is it possible for someone to save nearly $1 million in 40 years? Yes and no. No, that example is probably not realistic. And yes, it is absolutely possible for someone to save close to and over $1 million in 40 years. Our example has Jennifer contributing $117.69 per week every week for 40 years. That amount is 18% of her income, the maximum RRSP contribution she's allowed under the current rules. $34,000 divided by 52 weeks is $653.85 per week. 18% of $653.85 is $117.69. Easy enough. However, Jennifer will not earn $34,000 a year for the next 40 years. She's a bright, hard-working young adult and will undoubtedly get some pay increases, promotions, better opportunities, that sort of stuff over the next 40 years. She will make more money. So, what would happen if we did the same exact exercise again, only this time we will assume that her income will increase by $1,000 every year and that she will continue to contribute 18% of her income to her RSP. Everything else will remain the same. She contributes weekly and she gets a 6% return. How much would Jennifer now have in her RSP over 40 years? There is another graph here on page 40. The amount? $1,321,379. Holy crap. That's a lot of money. Is that realistic? Yes, in fact, it is very realistic. First, our example starts with Jennifer earning a salary of $34,000 per year, which isn't over the top. Second, we gave her a raise of $1,000 every year, annually. And the third, we assumed an average rate of return of 6%. I want to be clear about this. No one, and I mean no one, knows with any degree of certainty what rate of return you or anyone else will earn over the next 40 years. No one. Not me, not Warren Buffett, not Bill Gates, not Buddy at work with the Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses, and the leased BMW who acts like he knows everything. No one. I honestly believe that a 6% rate of return over the next 40 years is a reasonable estimate, and in the next chapter, we'll discuss how to achieve it. However, I can't guarantee it. You may earn more, you may earn less. Not long ago, most personal finance books predicted returns of 10%, 15%, and they did so with good reason. However, that type of return has been near impossible to achieve in recent years, and most economists now recommend a more conservative estimation. The other thing Jennifer did in our example is she left it alone. That's important. She continued to pay herself each week, and at no time did she stop paying herself. Just as important, she never once took any money out. Your RRSP is like your personal retirement vault, in that it protects your money from taxation while it grows inside the vault. But it also needs to be a vault from another danger: you. This money is being saved to ensure that you are able to enjoy a comfortable retirement someday. Take it out early, and not only will you get seriously taxed up the wazoo, you will also damage the very goal you are working towards. Please leave your RRSP alone until retirement. How much should you contribute? That's easy. As much as you can. Remember, the CRA will only allow you to contribute up to 18% of your previous year's income, up to the maximum allowed. If you earn $30,000 per year, you are only allowed to contribute $5,400. If you earn $70,000 per year, you are only allowed to contribute $12,600. Remember, you can find your RSP deduction limit for this year on the notice of assessment you received from the CRA after filling out your income tax return from last year. Your notice of assessment is available from the CRA online as well. You start building RRSP contribution room as soon as you start filing income tax returns. If you don't use that room by contributing the maximum to your RRSP, you can carry forward the unused room to future years. Try not to use this feature. It allows people to delay their RRSP contributions, and as we've seen, time is critical to compounding interest, rabbits, and zombies. When you contribute 18% of your income to your RRSP, it is important to keep in mind that you still have 82% of your income left for living today, and that's before factoring in the money you are saving on your income taxes. In reality, you will still have approximately 86% of your income left for living in the here and now. RRSPs really are a great deal. Once you've made the decision to start your RRSP savings, there's a number of different ways to do it. And to demonstrate which way is best, I need the help of a truly iconic Canadian organization.